In the grim darkness of the far future, where there is only war, the Orks stand as a formidable force, their strength bolstered not just by their physical might, but by an intricate belief system that defies conventional understanding. The green tide of the Orks sweeps across the galaxy, leaving destruction and chaos in its wake, guided by a unique form of faith that shapes their very reality. The Orks, also known as greenskins, are a race of belligerent fungoid humanoids whose society revolves around warfare and conquest. Their brutal efficiency in combat is matched only by their seemingly inexplicable technological capabilities, both of which are inextricably linked to their religious beliefs. This symbiosis between faith and function forms the cornerstone of Ork success in the battlefields of the 41st millennium. At first glance, Ork society appears to be a chaotic, disorganized rabble. However, beneath the surface lies a complex social structure held together by a shared psychic field and a set of beliefs that border on the mystical. This collective consciousness, known as the Wa, is both a battle cry and a manifestation of Ork psychic power, amplifying their strength and unifying their purpose. The Ork pantheon is dominated by two powerful entities, Gork and Mork. These twin gods embody the Ork ideals of cunning and brutality, respectively. Gork is often described as brutally cunning, while Mork is cunningly brutal. This subtle distinction highlights the duality in Ork nature, the balance between raw strength and tactical acumen that makes them such fearsome opponents. Ork religious practices are as diverse as they are bizarre. From the veneration of ancient artifacts to the creation of totems and effigies, Ork faith manifests in myriad forms. Weird Boys, the psychic members of Ork society, serve as conduits for the Wa energy, channeling it into devastating psychic attacks. Meanwhile, Mech Boys, guided by what they perceive as divine inspiration, cobble together improbable war machines that function through a combination of rudimentary engineering and collective belief. The power of Ork faith extends beyond mere superstition. Their belief system has tangible effects on the physical world, a phenomenon that has baffled Imperial scholars for millennia. This gestalt field, generated by the collective Ork psyche, can influence probability, allowing their ramshackle technology to function against all odds and imbuing their weapons with enhanced destructive capabilities. In the context of the broader Warhammer 40,000 universe, the Ork religion stands out for its uniqueness. Unlike the rigid dogma of the Imperial cult or the esoteric rituals of Chaos worshippers, Ork faith is organic, evolving, and intrinsically tied to their very existence. It's a belief system that doesn't just guide their actions but actively shapes their reality. The impact of this faith-driven warfare is felt across the galaxy. Imperial worlds live in constant fear of Ork Wasis, massive migrations that can strip entire sectors bare. Even the mighty Space Marines, genetically engineered super soldiers of the Imperium, have learned to respect the threat posed by a fully motivated Ork horde. Understanding the role of religion in Ork society is crucial to comprehending their success on the battlefield. Their faith doesn't just motivate them, it empowers them, creating a feedback loop of belief and manifestation that makes them one of the most resilient and adaptable races in the galaxy. As we delve deeper into the intricacies of Ork religion, we'll uncover how this unique spiritual ecosystem contributes to their martial prowess and their enduring presence in a universe bent on their destruction. The concept of victory for Orks is intrinsically tied to their religious beliefs. In their worldview, the act of fighting is itself a form of worship. Each battle is an offering to Gork and Mork, a chance to prove their worth and revel in the glory of combat. This perspective transforms every conflict into a win-win situation for the Orks. Either they emerge victorious, or they die in glorious battle, fulfilling their divine purpose. This religious fervor fuels the Orks' infamous resilience. Where other races might falter in the face of overwhelming odds, Orks see only an opportunity for a greater triumph. Their unwavering faith in their gods and in their own strength allows them to push beyond normal limitations, turning potential defeats into unlikely victories. Moreover, the Ork belief system fosters a unique form of unity among their otherwise fractious society. In the heat of battle, Guided by the Wa, energy, disparate Ork clans can set aside their differences and fight as a cohesive force. This ability to rapidly organize and adapt, driven by their shared faith, gives them a significant advantage over more rigid military structures. As we continue to explore the intricacies of Ork religion and its impact on their martial success, we'll uncover the deeper connections between their faith, their technology, and their unparalleled ability to thrive in the hostile environment of the 41st millennium. The green tide rises, powered by belief, ready to crash upon the shores of a galaxy that underestimates the power of Ork faith at its own peril. The genesis of Ork faith is shrouded in mystery, its roots stretching back to the dawn of galactic history. Legend speaks of an ancient race known as the Old Ones, masters of the warp and shapers of worlds. These enigmatic beings, facing extinction at the hands of the star gods called the Shaitan, created numerous warrior races to combat their nemesis. Among these creations were the Orks, primordial ancestors of the modern Orks. Engineered for warfare, the Orks possessed an innate understanding of combat and technology, hardwired into their very DNA. This genetic memory, passed down through countless generations, evolved into the quasi-religious reverence for violence and machinery that characterizes contemporary Ork culture. The transition from Krork to Ork remains a subject of debate among Imperial scholars, with some theorizing that the devolution occurred after the Old One's disappearance, while others posit a gradual change over millions of years. As the Orks spread across the stars, their belief system evolved, adapting to new challenges and environments. The concept of Gork and Mork, the twin deities of Orkdom, likely emerged during this period of expansion. These gods embodied the dualistic nature of Ork psychology, the brutal cunning and cunning brutality that defined their approach to warfare and life. The development of the Wa energy, a psychic field generated by large concentrations of Orks, marked a crucial point in the evolution of their faith. This phenomenon, part group consciousness and part reality warping force, became intrinsically linked to Ork religious practices. Weird boys, sensitive to this energy, rose to prominence as conduits of divine power, capable of channeling the collective might of their kin into devastating psychic attacks. Throughout the millennia, Ork religion has remained remarkably consistent in its core tenets, while demonstrating incredible flexibility in practice. This adaptability has allowed Ork culture to thrive in vastly different environments, from feral worlds where they regress to a primitive state to hyper-technological Ork empires capable of challenging the mightiest forces in the galaxy. The Age of Strife, a tumultuous period marked by warp storms that isolated human worlds, provided fertile ground for Ork expansion. Cut off from central authority, many human colonies fell prey to marauding Ork warbands. These conflicts further cemented the Orks' belief in their divine right to conquest, each victory interpreted as a sign of favor from Gork and Mork. The arrival of the Emperor of Mankind and the subsequent Great Crusade brought the Orks into direct conflict with humanity's resurgent power. Legendary battles, such as the War of the Beast, where a massive Ork Wa nearly overwhelmed Terra itself, entered Ork oral tradition. These epic conflicts became part of their mythology, inspiring future generations to even greater acts of violence in homage to their ancestors' glorious deeds. Interestingly, the concept of martyrdom is largely absent from Ork religion. For Orks, death in battle is not seen as a sacrifice, but as the fulfillment of their purpose. This perspective contributes significantly to their fearlessness in combat, as they view every fight as an opportunity for either victory or a good death that will please their gods. The role of Ork religion in their technological advancement cannot be overstated. Mech boys, guided by what they perceive as divine inspiration, create increasingly complex and improbable machines. The collective belief of the Orks imbues these creations with a form of psychic energy, allowing them to function despite defying known laws of physics. This merging of faith and technology exemplifies the unique nature of Ork culture, where the lines between the spiritual and the material are perpetually blurred. Over time, distinct Ork cultures have emerged, each with its own interpretation of the core faith. Speed freaks, for instance, venerate velocity as a divine attribute, believing that the faster they go, the closer they are to Gork and Mork. Snakebites, conversely, eschew advanced technology, viewing a more primitive lifestyle as the truest expression of Orkish values. Despite these variations, the fundamental aspects of Ork religion, the worship of Gork and Mork, the reverence for combat, and the power of the Wa, remain constant across all Ork societies. The history of Ork religion is also marked by the rise of charismatic warlords who have achieved near-divine status among their followers. Figures like Gazkul Mag Uruk Thraka, who led the devastating assaults on Armageddon, are often seen as prophets or avatars of Gork and Mork. These warlords' ability to unite disparate Ork clans under a single banner demonstrates the galvanizing power of their faith when focused through a powerful personality. In recent millennia, the resurgence of Ork empires has led to renewed interest in their religious practices among imperial scholars. Some radical inquisitors have even suggested studying Ork beliefs to better understand and combat the Wa energy, a proposition that has been met with accusations of heresy from more conservative elements within the Imperium. The resilience of Ork faith in the face of repeated setbacks and genocidal campaigns against them is a testament to its deep-rooted nature. Unlike many other races, Orks do not experience crises of faith. Defeats are rationalized as tests from their gods or simply opportunities to fight again, while victories reinforce their unshakable belief in divine favor. As the 41st millennium draws to a close, Ork religion continues to evolve and adapt. The emergence of new threats, such as the Tyrannid Hive fleets and the awakening Necron dynasties, has only served to invigorate Ork faith. Each new enemy is seen as a fresh challenge sent by Gork and Mork, an opportunity to prove Ork superiority in the crucible of war. The history and origins of Ork religion reveal a belief system uniquely suited to a species engineered for eternal conflict. It is a faith that does not seek enlightenment or salvation, but rather glorifies the very act of struggle. In understanding this history, we gain insight into why Orks fight with such unbridled enthusiasm and how their religion continues to be a driving force behind their countless victories across the war-torn galaxy of Warhammer 40,000. Ork religion stands apart in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, distinguished by its unique blend of simplicity and complexity. At its core lie several key characteristics that define the greenskin faith and contribute to their martial prowess. Foremost among these is the concept of the Wa, a psychic field generated by large gatherings of Orks. This phenomenon serves as both a battle cry and a manifestation of Ork collective consciousness. The Wa energy permeates every aspect of Ork society, amplifying their strength, speed, and ferocity in combat. As more Orks join a Wa, the psychic field intensifies, creating a feedback loop of increasing power and aggression. The Wa energy also influences Ork technology in mysterious ways. Ork mechboys, guided by this collective psychic field, construct improbable war machines and weapons that function through a combination of rudimentary engineering and sheer force of belief. This gestalt field allows Ork technology to operate in defiance of known physical laws, baffling Imperial technicians and enhancing the Greenskins' combat effectiveness. Central to Ork religion are the twin deities Gork and Mork. These gods embody the dualistic nature of Ork psychology. Gork represents brutal cunning, while Mork personifies cunning brutality. This subtle distinction highlights the balance between raw strength and tactical acumen in Ork warfare. Worship of Gork and Mork takes many forms, from crude effigies erected on battlefields to the very act of combat itself, which Orks view as a form of devotion. Unlike the somber, penitent faiths of other races, Ork religion is characterized by its exuberance and joy. For Orks, warfare is not just a means to an end, but a celebration of their god's favor. This outlook transforms every battle into a religious festival, with each act of violence serving as an offering to Gork and Mork. This celebratory aspect of their faith contributes significantly to the Orks' fearlessness in combat and their ability to maintain morale even in the face of overwhelming odds. Another unique feature of Ork religion is its lack of formal priesthood or organized hierarchy. While certain individuals, such as weird boys and influential war bosses, may hold positions of spiritual significance, there is no structured clergy as seen in human faiths. Instead, every Ork is considered a direct participant in their religion, with personal acts of valor and violence serving as expressions of faith. The role of weird boys in Ork society merits special attention. These psychic individuals serve as conduits for the Wa energy, channeling the collective psychic power of their fellow Orks into devastating attacks. Weird boys occupy a precarious position in Ork culture, revered for their connection to the Wa, but also feared for their unpredictable and often explosive manifestations of power. Ork religion also features a unique relationship with death. Unlike many faiths that promise an afterlife or reincarnation, Ork beliefs focus entirely on the present. Death in battle is seen not as a tragedy, but as the fulfillment of an Ork's purpose. This perspective eliminates the fear of death that might hinder other races, allowing Orks to fight with reckless abandon and turn the tide of seemingly hopeless battles through sheer tenacity. The concept of religious artifacts takes on a distinctly Orky flavor in their faith. While other cultures might venerate holy relics or sacred texts, Orks attach religious significance to weapons, vehicles, and other instruments of war. A particularly effective gun or a well-worn choppa might be seen as blessed by Gork and Mork, its repeated success in battle serving as proof of divine favor. This belief further blurs the line between the spiritual and the material in Ork culture. One of the most fascinating aspects of Ork religion is its self-reinforcing nature. The collective belief of Orks has a tangible effect on their reality, a phenomenon that extends beyond their technology to influence their physiology and the very fabric of their society. This is perhaps most evident in the way Ork social structure aligns with their religious beliefs. The biggest and strongest Orks naturally assume leadership positions, their success seen as a sign of the god's blessing, which in turn inspires greater belief and loyalty from their followers. The adaptability of Ork faith is another key characteristic. As Orks spread across the galaxy, their religion has shown a remarkable ability to incorporate new experiences and challenges. Encounters with new enemies or environments are quickly woven into their religious narrative, with particularly memorable foes sometimes elevated to the status of legendary opponents sent by Gork and Mork to test the Orks' mettle. Ork religion also features a unique form of prophecy and divination. Unlike the cryptic visions or complex rituals used by other races, Ork foresight is often direct and action-oriented. A war boss might claim to have received a vision from Gork, or possibly Mork, instructing him to attack a specific world, leading to the formation of a new Wa. These prophecies, whether genuine psychic phenomena or merely the product of an Ork leader's ambition, serve to unite and motivate Ork forces, driving them toward greater conquests. The concept of holy sites in Ork religion differs significantly from that of other faiths. While Orks may attach significance to locations of great battles or the birthplaces of legendary warlords, these sites are not treated with the reverence seen in human religions. Instead, they are more likely to be seen as proving grounds where ambitious Orks can test themselves against the legends of the past. This attitude reflects the dynamic, forward-looking nature of Ork faith, which values action over contemplation. Another intriguing feature of Ork religion is its influence on their perception of time. Orks have little interest in recording history or planning for a distant future. Their faith keeps them firmly rooted in the present, with the past serving mainly as a source of inspirational legends and the future seen simply as an endless series of opportunities for combat. This eternal present mindset contributes to the Orks' ability to recover quickly from setbacks and maintain their aggressive expansion across the galaxy. The role of music and noise in Ork religion cannot be overstated. The cacophony of battle, with its explosive detonations, roaring engines, and the bellowed wah cries of countless Ork throats, is seen as a form of worship in itself. This deafening din serves not only to intimidate enemies, but also to whip Orks into a religious frenzy, enhancing their combat effectiveness and reinforcing their connection to the Wa energy. Ork religion also features a unique approach to miracles and divine intervention. While other faiths might attribute unexpected events or seeming impossibilities to the direct action of their gods, Orks view the success of their improbable technology and their survival against overwhelming odds as natural consequences of their god's favor. This perspective eliminates the distinction between the miraculous and the mundane in Ork culture, further reinforcing their unshakable faith. The concept of heresy or religious deviation is largely absent from Ork faith. The lack of codified doctrine or sacred texts means that there is no orthodox belief to deviate from. Instead, an Ork's standing in the eyes of Gork and Mork is judged solely by their actions, particularly their success in combat. This focus on deeds rather than creeds contributes to the unity of purpose seen in Ork Waz, where Orks from diverse clans and cultures can set aside their differences in pursuit of a common goal. Finally, the relationship between Ork religion and their reproduction cycle bears mentioning. Orks reproduce through the release of spores, a process that accelerates when an Ork dies in combat. This biological feature is intrinsically linked to their religious beliefs, reinforcing the idea that death in battle serves a higher purpose. The knowledge that their demise will ultimately contribute to the propagation of their species adds another layer to the Orks' fearless approach to warfare. In conclusion, the characteristics and features of Ork religion form a complex tapestry that is uniquely suited to their nature as a warrior race. From the psychic phenomenon of the Wa to their joyous approach to combat, every aspect of their faith serves to enhance their effectiveness in battle. Understanding these features is crucial to comprehending how Ork religion contributes to their countless victories across the war-torn galaxy of Warhammer 40,000. The impact of Ork religion reverberates throughout the Warhammer 40,000 universe, shaping not only Ork society, but influencing the strategies and policies of other factions. This faith-driven force of nature serves as a constant threat to galactic stability, while simultaneously acting as an unlikely bulwark against even greater dangers. Within Ork society, their unique brand of spirituality forms the bedrock of their culture. It dictates social hierarchies, guides technological development, and provides the impetus for their never-ending crusade of conquest. The Wa energy, a psychic field generated by large Ork gatherings, exemplifies this melding of the spiritual and the practical. As Orks amass for war, their collective belief manifests as tangible power, enhancing their strength and combat effectiveness. This phenomenon has far-reaching consequences for Imperial military strategy. The knowledge that Ork hordes grow exponentially more dangerous as they increase in size necessitates swift and decisive action against greenskin incursions. Planetary governors and military commanders must constantly weigh the risks of allowing Ork populations to expand against the resources required for their extermination, knowing that hesitation could lead to a full-scale Wa. The Adeptus Mechanicus, keepers of humanity's technological knowledge, find themselves both fascinated and frustrated by Ork religious practices. The inexplicable functionality of Ork technology, powered by their collective belief, challenges the Mechanicus' understanding of physics and engineering. Some tech priests dedicate their lives to unraveling the mysteries of Ork mechanical prowess, seeking to harness this faith-based technology for the Imperium's benefit. These pursuits, however, often skirt the boundaries of tech heresy, risking censure from their more orthodox peers. Inquisitors of the Ordo Xenos pay close attention to Ork religious activities, recognizing the potential for Wag, energy to disrupt the fabric of reality itself. Reports of reality-warping phenomena in the wake of massive Ork invasions have led to increased scrutiny of Ork psychic manifestations. Some radical inquisitors even propose studying Ork beliefs to develop new weapons against chaos, arguing that the Orks' resistance to warp corruption stems from their unique spiritual practices. The Ecclesiarchy, guardians of the imperial cult, view Ork religion with a mixture of disgust and begrudging respect. While they decry the greenskin faith as an affront to the God Emperor, many preachers privately admire the unshakable conviction and joy that Orks derive from their beliefs. Some firebrand missionaries have even attempted to incorporate elements of Ork-like fervor into their sermons, seeking to instill a similar zeal for combat in imperial citizens. For the Eldari, ancient enemies of the Orks, the greenskin religion represents a persistent threat to their plans of racial resurgence. Farseers must constantly adjust their intricate schemes to account for the unpredictable nature of Ork-Wa Sis, which can upset the balance of power in entire sectors. The psychic nature of Ork faith also creates turbulence in the warp, sometimes interfering with Eldari divination and webway travel. Chaos forces find themselves in a paradoxical relationship with Ork religion. On one hand, the constant warfare generated by Ork beliefs feeds the Chaos gods, particularly Khorne. On the other, the Orks' single-minded devotion to Gork and Mork renders them remarkably resistant to Chaos corruption. This immunity frustrates the plans of Chaos lords and demon princes, who often underestimate the spiritual resilience of their greenskin foes. The tyrannid hive mind, ever adapting and evolving, has been forced to develop new strategies to counter the unique challenges posed by Ork faith. The psychic resonance of a Wa interferes with the hive mind's synaptic control, while the Orks' faith-enhanced combat prowess makes them formidable opponents, even for the most adapted tyrannid bioforms. Some xenobiologists speculate that future tyrannid invasions may specifically target Ork-held worlds to eliminate this threat and potentially assimilate the greenskins' psychic resilience. Necron dynasties, awakening to a galaxy much changed, find the proliferation of Ork empires particularly vexing. The Orks' faith-based technology confounds Necron logic engines, making it difficult to predict and counter their strategies. Some Necron cryptechs have begun to study Ork-Wa energy, seeking to understand and potentially neutralize this psychic phenomenon that defies their hyper-advanced science. The Tau Empire, in its quest for galactic dominance, has been forced to reassess its strategies in the face of Ork religious fervor. The Tau's philosophy of the greater good finds no purchase among Orks, whose belief system is fundamentally incompatible with Tau collectivism. This has led Tau commanders to develop specialized tactics for combating Ork hordes, focusing on disrupting their leadership structures to weaken the Wa, energy that empowers them. On a galactic scale, Ork religion serves as both a destabilizing force and an inadvertent protector of the status quo. Their constant raids and invasions prevent any one faction from gaining too much power, inadvertently preserving a form of balance in the ongoing struggle for supremacy. Some Imperial scholars even suggest that the Orks act as a form of galactic immune system, instinctively attacking emerging threats that could upset the cosmic order. The influence of Ork faith extends to the very fabric of the materium. Worlds touched by massive Wa often exhibit strange phenomena, from inexplicable mechanical failures to localized warping of physical laws. These effects, believed to be residual manifestations of intense Ork belief, can persist for centuries, creating zones of unpredictability that vex Imperial cartographers and colonists alike. In the realm of interstellar travel, Ork religious practices have unexpected consequences. The psychic emanations of large Ork populations can create turbulence in the warp, disrupting normal navigation and sometimes forming Ork currents, regions of the Empyrean that facilitate faster-than-normal travel between Ork-held worlds. Rogue traders and desperate captains have been known to risk following these currents, braving the dangers of Ork-infested space for the promise of swift passage. The role of Ork religion in shaping their technology has far-reaching implications for the balance of power in the 41st millennium. The Orks' ability to scavenge and repurpose technology from other races, enhanced by their faith-based engineering, allows them to rapidly adapt to new threats. This technological flexibility, combined with their numerical superiority, makes Orks a persistent threat even to the most advanced civilizations. Ork faith also plays a crucial role in the ongoing war in heaven between the C'tan and the Old Ones. Some esoteric theories posit that the Orks, as creations of the Old Ones, embody a form of living weapon against the C'tan's material supremacy. Their psychic faith, manifesting in the material realm, represents a fusion of the warp and real space that the Citan cannot fully comprehend or counter. The psychological impact of Ork religion on other races cannot be overstated. The sight of Ork hordes charging into battle, filled with religious fervor and joy, has broken the morale of countless enemy forces. This fearless devotion to combat, driven by unshakable faith, makes Orks one of the most terrifying opponents in the galaxy, capable of inspiring dread in even the most disciplined troops. In the grand tapestry of galactic conflict, Ork religion serves as a wild card, capable of upsetting carefully laid plans and altering the course of history. The rise of figures like Gazkul Mag Uruk Thraka, seen by many Orks as a prophet of Gork and Mork, demonstrates the potential for Ork faith to unify vast swaths of their race, creating threats on a scale unseen since the War of the Beast. As the 41st millennium draws to a close and new threats emerge, the role of Ork religion in the galaxy's future remains uncertain. Will the Orks' faith-driven expansion consume all in its path, or will it serve as a bulwark against even greater dangers lurking in the darkness between the stars? Only time will tell, but one thing remains certain: the thunderous cry of "Wah!" will continue to echo across the battlefields of the far future, a testament to the enduring power of Ork belief in a universe dominated by war. The annals of Imperial records burst with tales of Ork religious phenomena that defy explanation. One such account comes from the Agrippina sector, where an Ork Wa, led by war boss Grimtooth Darippa, descended upon the Forge world Helios Prime. As the Greenskin horde approached, every mechanical device on the planet inexplicably failed. Cogitators sparked, engines sputtered, and even the simplest gears refused to turn. Yet when the Orks made planetfall, their ramshackle vehicles and bizarre weaponry functioned flawlessly. The Adeptus Mechanicus defenders, stripped of their technological superiority, were overwhelmed in a matter of days. Survivors whispered of witnessing Ork mech boys Reva-upping machinery with little more than a kick and a shouted prayer to Gork and Mork. The phenomenon known as Ork sighting has puzzled Imperial scholars for millennia. Documented cases exist where individuals or entire populations have reported Ork invasions that never materialized. In one notable incident on the hive world Tertius Secundus, mass hysteria gripped the populace as citizens claimed to see green-skinned marauders rampaging through the streets. Arbite's patrols found no evidence of Ork presence, yet the panic persisted for weeks. Some theorize these events result from lingering psychic residue left by past Wa says, manifesting as shared hallucinations in particularly susceptible populations. Inquisitorial reports speak of a curious effect observed in long-term prisoners of Ork war bands. Human captives exposed to the constant psychic background of Ork society have been known to develop limited ability to comprehend Orkish speech and even operate Ork technology. The Ordo Xenos hypothesizes this may be due to unintentional assimilation into the Ork Gestalt field. However, these individuals invariably descend into madness, their minds unable to fully reconcile with the alien psychic environment. The legend of Commissar Yarrick, the so-called Bane of the Orks, offers a unique glimpse into how Ork beliefs can elevate an enemy to near-mythical status. Yarrick's numerous victories against Ork forces led many greenskins to believe he could not be killed. This conviction became so widespread that it seemingly manifested as reality, with Yarrick surviving wounds that should have been fatal. Some radical inquisitors propose that Yarrick inadvertently tapped into the Orks' own faith-based reality warping, turning their belief in his invincibility into a self-fulfilling prophecy. An peculiar incident occurred during the Octarius War, where Orks and Tyranids clashed in a sector-spanning conflict. Ordo Xenos observers noted that as the war progressed, Ork forces began to manifest biological adaptations eerily similar to Tyranid organisms. Theories abound, but some xenobiologists suggest the Orks' latent psychic field might have subconsciously mimicked Tyranid evolution, driven by the greenskins' desire for propa-phyton bodies. The curious case of the Ork head on Valhalla has intrigued Imperial scholars for centuries. This colossal mountain-sized stone formation bears an uncanny resemblance to an orc's head, complete with a jagged toothed maw large enough to accommodate Titan-class war machines. Local legends claim the formation appeared overnight following a massive orc invasion. While officially dismissed as natural geology, some tech priests whisper of strange energy readings emanating from the structure, hinting at a deeper psychic origin tied to orc belief. Rogue Trader. Anastasia von Cleef's expedition into the Ghoul Stars returned with tales of an orc-held world where massive, city-sized gargants roamed the plains. These behemoths, too large to be practically built or powered by conventional means, were reportedly animated by the sheer belief of millions of orcs. Von Cleef's logs describe battles where these titanic effigies of Gork and Mork strode across continents, each step unleashing devastating shockwaves of faith-fueled energy. The phenomenon of orc suns has been documented in several sectors. These are stars that, according to all scientific measurement, should have burnt out millennia ago. Yet they continue to blaze, seemingly fueled by the belief of orc populations inhabiting nearby planets. In one extreme case, a Death Watch kill team reported witnessing an extinguished star reignite as a massive orc fleet entered the system, its ships filled with greenskins chanting for more light for Krumpen. An old spacer's tale speaks of the Green Tide Nebula, a roiling mass of emerald gases that periodically spawns fully formed orc rocks. While dismissed by most as mere warp-addled fancy, a handful of picked captures seem to corroborate the phenomenon. Xenobiologists theorize it may be the result of lingering spores from an ancient sector-spanning Wa, continuously fed by psychic energy to produce new orc life. The Siege of Neverlight presents a fascinating case study in orc religious phenomena. As a horde of speed freaks descended upon this night-shrouded world, locals reported the impossible, the first dawn in recorded history. For the duration of the orc invasion, a green sun rose daily, persisting until the greenskins were finally repelled. The source of this manifest luminescence remains a mystery, though some attribute it to the speed freaks' fervent belief that "da best races happen in the daylight." Imperial records contain accounts of so-called orc seers, greenskins who demonstrate precognitive abilities far beyond the norm for their species. Unlike traditional weird boys, these individuals claim to receive visions directly from Gork and Mork. The accuracy of their prophecies, particularly in predicting prime opportunities for warfare, has led some orc warbands to hold these seers in high esteem, shaping entire campaigns around their divine revelations. The tale of warboss Grimgor Ironhide's final battle has achieved legendary status among both orcs and their enemies. Reportedly, as Grimgor fell to a demon prince's blade, his death cry of "Gork and Mork ain't done with me yet" triggered a catastrophic warp storm. When the Empyrean tempest subsided, both Grimgor and the demon prince had vanished, leaving behind a crater filled with teeth, a sight orcs now interpret as a sign of their god's direct intervention. An intriguing theory proposed by Magos Biologis Ferus Braun suggests that the orc gestalt field may have unintended benefits for other races. His controversial study indicates that human settlements in close proximity to large orc populations experience fewer mechanical failures and higher rates of lucky survivals from otherwise fatal accidents. Braun hypothesizes that residual orc belief in the proper functioning of machinery and the excitement of narrow escapes may bleed over into nearby non-orc communities. The chaotic incursion of Dantask IV took an unexpected turn when an orc Wa arrived mid-battle. Witnesses describe a bizarre scene where demons, notorious for their resistance to conventional weaponry, were easily felled by crude orc guns and choppa. Inquisitorial analysis suggests the orcs' unshakable belief in their weapons' effectiveness temporarily altered the materium, allowing them to harm warp entities as easily as physical foes. Orc worship of Gork and Mork occasionally manifests in surprising ways. The Catechin 142nd reported encountering an orc tribe that had taken to stacking rocks in crude effigies of their gods. Remarkably, these towers defied physics, standing despite precarious balance and even resisting artillery fire. The Catechins eventually triumphed by toppling the central tower, an act that seemed to break the Orks' morale instantly. The Chronicle of Mechboy Whizbang's shock attack gun provides insight into how Ork belief can transcend normal physical limitations. This weapon, designed to teleport snotlings into enemy war machines, initially failed catastrophically. However, after Whizbang regaled his fellow Orks with tales of its devastating potential, the gun began functioning perfectly. Captured examples in Imperial hands invariably fail to operate, leading tech priests to conclude its functionality relies entirely on the Orks' collective belief. An old Eldari text speaks of the Green Nightmare, a sector of space where Ork belief has saturated reality to such a degree that the laws of physics are more suggestion than rule. The account describes impossible orbital arrangements, suns that change color based on the whims of planetary war bosses, and worlds that flat-out refuse to acknowledge the concept of gravity. While the exact location remains a mystery, the description serves as a chilling reminder of the reality-warping potential of unfettered Ork faith. The infamous Death Flush incident on the hive world Gamma Secundus stands as a testament to the unpredictable nature of Ork psychic manifestation. During a protracted siege, a group of Orks, frustrated by their inability to breach the hive's upper levels, collectively wished they could get up dare right proper. Witnesses reported a sudden localized reversal of gravity, launching the entire Ork warband upwards through the hive's central shaft. The defenders, caught entirely off guard by Orks literally raining from below, were swiftly overwhelmed. Inquisitorial studies into Ork-held worlds have revealed a curious phenomenon dubbed retroactive probability. In several documented cases, archaeological evidence of Ork presence has been discovered on worlds with no prior record of Ork invasion. More bizarrely, these artifacts often appear to predate the evolution of Orks themselves. Some radical theorists propose that particularly strong Wa energy might be capable of altering history itself, retroactively inserting Ork influence into a planet's past. The tale of Captain Bloodclaw's Rocket Lucky Charm illustrates the power of Ork belief on a personal scale. This crudely fashioned trinket, allegedly containing the teeth of a fallen war boss, was credited with saving Bloodclaw from certain death on numerous occasions. In one notable instance, the charm reportedly deflected a laser blast from a Necron Doomsday Ark, and feat that defies all known laws of physics. The charm's power grew with each survival story until Bloodclaw himself was viewed as nearly invincible by his crew. The Box-Narak cartel, a group of enterprising Orks, stumbled upon an unusual method of warp travel. By convincing their followers that a box-shaped vehicle was the best fightin' machine Eva, they managed to create a crude but effective Geller field through sheer collective belief. This Orky cruiser successfully traversed the warp multiple times, protected from its horrors by the occupants' unshakable faith in their ramshackle vessel's superiority. These tales and facts, culled from millennia of galactic conflict, paint a picture of Ork religion as a force of chaos and wonder in equal measure. From physics-defying feats of engineering to reality-warping manifestations of faith, the impact of Ork beliefs on the Warhammer 40,000 universe continues to baffle and amaze scholars, soldiers, and civilians alike. As the endless war rages on, one thing remains certain: underestimating the power of Ork faith is a mistake few live to regret. The intricate tapestry of Ork religion weaves together strands of violence, technology, and psychic phenomena into a unique cultural force that propels the Greenskins to victory across the galaxy. This analysis delves into the multifaceted ways in which Ork faith contributes to their martial success, exploring its impact on Ork society, warfare, and the broader Warhammer 40,000 universe. At its core, Ork religion serves as a unifying factor for an otherwise fractious species. The worship of Gork and Mork provides a common ground for disparate Ork clans, facilitating the formation of massive Waags that can threaten entire sectors. This shared belief system transcends tribal differences, allowing Orks to quickly coalesce into formidable fighting forces under the banner of a charismatic war boss. The ability to rapidly organize and mobilize vast numbers gives Orks a significant strategic advantage over more regimented armies. The psychic dimension of Ork faith, manifested in the Waa's energy, plays a crucial role in enhancing their combat effectiveness. As Ork numbers grow, so does the intensity of this psychic field, creating a feedback loop of increasing power. This phenomenon explains how Ork hordes can become exponentially more dangerous as they gain momentum, often overwhelming opponents who underestimate their potential for growth. The Waa energy not only boosts the Orks' physical abilities, but also affects their environment, warping reality to align with Orkish expectations and further tipping the scales in their favor. Ork religious beliefs have a profound impact on their technology, enabling them to field war machines and weaponry that defy conventional understanding. The collective faith of Orks imbues their creations with a form of psychic energy, allowing ramshackle contraptions to function despite their apparent impossibility. This faith-based approach to engineering grants Orks unparalleled adaptability on the battlefield. They can salvage and repurpose enemy technology with shocking speed, turning the weapons of their foes against them. This technological flexibility, coupled with their numerical superiority, makes Orks a persistent threat even to the most advanced civilizations. The fearlessness instilled by Ork religion cannot be overstated as a factor in their military success. Orks view death in battle not as a tragedy, but as the fulfillment of their purpose, an attitude that eliminates the hesitation and self-preservation instincts that might hinder other races. This unwavering courage allows Ork forces to maintain morale in situations that would break the spirit of most armies, enabling them to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat through sheer tenacity and refusal to accept failure. The joyous nature of Ork faith sets it apart from the grim, fatalistic religions of many other races in the 41st millennium. Orks approach warfare with an exuberance that borders on celebration, each battle seen as an opportunity to prove their worth to Gork and Mork. This positive outlook contributes to their resilience, allowing Ork societies to bounce back quickly from defeats that might cripple other civilizations. The Orks' ability to find humor and excitement in the grimmest situations makes them a uniquely adaptable foe, capable of thriving in environments that would break the will of less enthusiastic warriors. Ork religion's influence extends beyond the material realm, affecting the very fabric of reality in ways that baffle imperial scholars. The Gestalt field generated by Ork beliefs can warp probability, leading to lucky outcomes that defy statistical likelihood. This reality-bending effect often manifests in critical moments, turning the tide of battle through seemingly miraculous occurrences. The cumulative impact of these probability shifts, while difficult to quantify, undoubtedly contributes to the Orks' reputation as an unpredictable and formidable enemy. The role of Weird Boys in channeling the Waa energy provides Ork armies with a potent psychic weapon. These living conduits of Orkish faith can unleash devastating attacks that rival the powers of the most gifted psychers from other races. The unpredictable nature of these manifestations adds an element of chaos to Ork warfare, making it difficult for opponents to develop effective countermeasures. The presence of Weird Boys in an Ork horde serves as a constant reminder of the raw psychic power underlying their faith, inspiring greater feats of valor among their fellow greenskins. Ork religion's impact on their reproduction cycle creates a self-perpetuating engine of war. The release of spores upon an Ork's death, particularly in combat, ensures that every battlefield becomes a potential breeding ground for future generations of warriors. This biological imperative, intertwined with their religious beliefs, drives Orks to seek out conflict as a means of propagating their species. The result is a race that literally grows stronger through warfare, presenting a unique challenge to any force seeking to permanently eradicate an Ork presence. The adaptability of Ork faith allows them to incorporate new experiences and challenges into their religious narrative with remarkable speed. Encounters with new enemies or environments are quickly woven into Orkish mythology, with particularly memorable foes elevated to the status of legendary opponents sent by Gork and Mork to test the Orks' mettle. This dynamic belief system enables Orks to maintain their cultural cohesion in the face of galactic diversity, turning potential sources of doubt or confusion into affirmations of their faith. The psychological impact of Ork religion on their enemies cannot be underestimated as a factor in their success. The sight of an Ork horde charging into battle, filled with religious fervor and joy, has broken the morale of countless enemy forces. The Orks' fearless devotion to combat, driven by unshakable faith, makes them one of the most terrifying opponents in the galaxy. This psychological edge often forces their enemies into defensive postures, ceding initiative to the Orks and allowing them to dictate the terms of engagement. Ork faith's resistance to chaos corruption provides them with a unique advantage in a universe where the threat of demonic invasion looms large. While other races must constantly guard against the insidious influence of the ruinous powers, Orks remain largely immune to such temptations. This immunity allows Ork forces to operate in warp-tainted environments that would prove lethal to other armies, expanding their range of potential conquests and providing them with safe havens in even the most hostile sectors of the galaxy. The decentralized nature of Ork religion, lacking a formal priesthood or rigid dogma, contributes to its resilience and adaptability. Without a centralized authority to dictate orthodoxy, Ork faith can evolve rapidly in response to new challenges. This flexibility allows Ork culture to thrive in vastly different environments, from feral worlds where they regress to a primitive state to hyper-technological Ork empires capable of challenging the mightiest forces in the galaxy. The absence of religious schisms or heresies that plague other faiths ensures that Ork society remains focused on external conquest rather than internal division. The symbiotic relationship between Ork faith and their technology creates a self-reinforcing cycle of innovation and belief. As mechboys create increasingly improbable war machines fueled by their divine inspiration, the success of these creations reinforces the Orks' belief in their god's favor. This, in turn, empowers the next generation of mechboys to attempt even more audacious feats of engineering. The result is a technological progression that operates outside the bounds of conventional science, allowing Orks to field weaponry that can surprise and overwhelm even the most advanced adversaries. Ork religion's influence on their perception of time gives them a strategic advantage in protracted conflicts. Their focus on the eternal present, with little regard for recording history or planning for a distant future, allows Orks to fully commit to the battle at hand. This mindset enables them to recover quickly from setbacks that might demoralize other races, as each defeat is simply seen as an opportunity for the next glorious battle. The Orks' ability to live fully in the moment makes them a relentless foe capable of sustaining campaigns long after other races would have exhausted their resolve. The role of Ork faith in shaping their social hierarchy contributes to their effectiveness as a fighting force. The biggest and strongest Orks naturally rise to positions of leadership, their success seen as a sign of divine favor. This meritocratic system ensures that Ork armies are led by the most capable warriors, with authority reinforced by both physical prowess and spiritual legitimacy. The result is a leadership structure that is both respected and feared, capable of maintaining order in the chaos of an Ork horde. The Gestalt psychic field generated by Ork beliefs serves as a form of collective intelligence, allowing for rapid dissemination of knowledge and skills throughout an Ork population. This shared consciousness enables even the youngest Orks to instinctively understand complex technologies and battle tactics, accelerating their development as warriors. The psychic network also facilitates a form of battlefield coordination that transcends conventional communication, allowing Ork forces to act with a degree of synchronization that belies their apparent disorganization. In conclusion, Ork religion stands as a cornerstone of their martial success, interweaving spiritual belief, psychic phenomena, and cultural practices into a formidable force multiplier. The fearlessness, technological innovation, and reality warping potential granted by their faith make Orks one of the most resilient and adaptable threats in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Their unique brand of spirituality not only drives them to constant warfare, but also provides them with the tools and mindset to excel in combat. The analysis of Ork religion reveals a complex system that defies simple categorization. It is at once primitive and sophisticated, chaotic and purposeful, a reflection of the paradoxical nature of the Orks themselves. As the galaxy plunges deeper into turmoil, the power of Ork faith continues to shape the course of galactic events, ensuring that the Greenskins remain a dominant force in the never-ending conflicts of the 41st millennium. Understanding the role of religion in Ork society is crucial for any force hoping to combat this ever-present threat. Yet even as scholars and strategists study Ork faith, its true nature remains elusive, a testament to the unpredictable and dynamic character of Orkish culture. In the end, the success of Ork religion in aiding their victories may lie not in its specific tenets or practices, but in its perfect adaptation to the Orkish way of life, a belief system that turns the very act of war into a form of worship and every battle into a sacred rite. As the Wah echoes across the stars, one thing remains certain. Underestimating the power of Ork faith is a mistake that has cost countless lives and worlds. In a universe drowning in darkness, the green tide rises, fueled by a belief that turns every defeat into a future victory and every victory into legend. The gods of the Orks may be figments of their collective imagination, but their impact on the galaxy is undeniably terrifyingly real.